you ever wonder why ocean liners aren't around anymore? Right, you just see the typical floating refrigerator on the ocean, like Icon of the Seas or Symphony of the Seas. Well, I'll tell you why. You know them, you love them, jetliners. Right, jetliners, you just keep the liner, but you get rid of the ocean. And you put jet. Now, jetliners go far back. And that's what we're going to be discussing in today's SS United States video. Hope you guys enjoy.
America's newest and biggest liner, the United States, leaves Newport News, Virginia, for a trial run in the Atlantic. The designers expect the $70 million superliner will sail faster than any commercial vessel ever built. The United States, now under her own power for the first time, is to undergo 2 days of tests. She won't enter the Atlantic run until July. 990 feet from stem to stern, she weighs in at 52,000 tons, 30,000 less than the Queen Elizabeth.
Now, the thing about planes, they go really far back. And, as you guys see, I am back with... Come here, Jasper. I am back with Jasper, of course. Say hello, Jasper. Now, Jasper has been pretty mischievous since we last seen each other. And, so, of course, speak of the devil. That was a perfect example of him being mischievous. He wanted to go out of my room and just ran around. But I got him, and, now we can start today's video. So, as you can see from the intro, we're going to be talking about, well, what caused the downfall and ultimate death of the ocean liner. That is the plane. Now, planes go really far back. Planes started, they started back in the late 19th century. You know, when ships like the Kaiser Wilhelm der Grosse were just being launched. Now, contrary to popular belief, the Wright brothers were not the first creator of the airplane. The first creator of the airplane was a man named George Cayley. Now, George Cayley was a British man around the 1850s. Now, in the 1850s, by accident, he created the first plane. Now, it was more like a glider, and it flew around for about, I think, it could take him around 50 miles, but he didn't think it was that much of a big deal, so he really just scrapped the idea and he didn't think it was that innovative. Fast forward a few decades, and you get the Wright brothers, who got the idea from him, along with Leonardo da Vinci, of course, famous artist and inventor. And there you go. You have the first plane. Now, in this photo, you see the first plane prototype, or one of the first plane prototypes. And you know that ship in the background? That's the Lusitania. Yeah, that's right. The Lusitania, in, I believe, 1907, was in the same area and the same event, I think, where, I forget what it's called, but I do know the event it showed the latest in transport technology, and there was Lusitania featuring as the latest in transport technology in terms of ocean liners and the Wright brothers planes. I think even Henry Ford's car was there as well. But this would just further get popularized during World War I and World War II. Now, remember, you may say, why, if the planes were this early, why didn't ships get wiped out by the 1930s? Well, I'll tell you why. These ships, remember, were propeller planes. They weren't jetliners yet. They were propeller planes. They had propellers. Similar to how ships have propellers on the back to push them across, and how they have them on the back, to sail them across the sea. Now, planes have this too, but it would be in the backward motion, so it would push them forward. Kind of how, I think, so planes, the blade would be backwards, so it would push them forward, how ships had them, forward, or it would push them back. Now, in World War II, that is when it really soared. So, the first plane, I believe, was created by Germany, and it was like a prototype first jetliner in the war. And after this, it just got even more popular. Now, contrary to popular belief, and don't forget this, jet fuel was very expensive. Very. Now, ocean liners use a lot of gas. They use way more gas in it, which is one of the reasons why planes phased them out, because it was way more cheaper. But jet fuel was still very expensive. Like the bigger planes, like the Boeing 747, those used a lot of fuel. But during the golden age of ocean liners, planes started to evolve. They took a backseat. You know, they during the golden years, like the 50s and pre-war, like after war, not pre-war. Pre-war is before. After the war. Sorry, Jasper. But after the war, they was kind of like the golden years of ocean liners, similar to the 1920s. Except during this, planes would come up, but planes would take a backseat in evolving. Now, the first jetliner was created by Boeing, I believe, it was the 707, and it really showed the beginning of the end for ocean liners. Started in the mid-50s, this revolutionary plane would take trips across the ocean from being, if you're using the SS United States, 3 days. But the typical ocean liner would be 4 days, 5 days. But planes would reduce that to just 7 hours. A colossal difference in something that just ships could not match. Even ships like the SS United States could not match speed of planes. Now, don't forget this. Ships were still popular. Now, at the beginning stages of planes were not as trusted as ships because they were new. Everything was new. But similar to how the steam expansion engine with the Lusitania, they were hesitant to use that engine because it was new. But once people really saw the difference in the amount of time it would take from going from point A to point B, not to mention, planes were very innovative. Not only could they go on water, they could go on land too. And this would just make them better than ocean liners. This would not only just make them better than ocean liners in terms of speed, but it would just make them on land too. So it would make ships like almost impractical. At this time, don't forget. Excuse me. But at this time, don't forget, this was the golden age of ships. You got ships like the SS France, of course. You got ships like the Queen Mary. You got ships like the Queen Elizabeth, and you got ships like the SS United States. Now, these ships would be incredibly fast, and especially for the SS France and SS United States, simply these ships came too late. The SS United States, don't forget, was 1952 when planes were early in their early stages. Planes, I believe, made their main debut in 1955. So 3 years after the States came out, planes were already on the scene. So it was a really blow to ocean liner. I believe, honestly, if the SS United States came 10, maybe 20 years prior to when it came and launched, I think, honestly, it'd be even more popular and have a way more successful career it was. Remember, the SS United States is really sad, not only because of the States in today, but it's really sad because it only had 10 years of service compared to the Queen Mary's 30 years. The Queen Mary's an 80-year-old ship, almost borderline 100 years old. In 10 years, I believe it would be 100 years old. So the Queen Mary is almost 90, 80 years old. That's a successful career. What's not a successful career is 10 years. Now, and not only this, you got ships like the Norway, aka the SS France, as it's most commonly used, and I like it more. There was an ultraliner ship, but it came early 60s, 62, I believe. And this just was way too late. Planes were already taken over with Pan Am and TWA. They were already taking over. So it was already in. I think it only served 5 years of service until it turned into a cruise ship, which, unfortunately, the United States didn't. It was way too fast for this. But it just really was sad because these ships that were new, not only the SS United States and France, those are just examples, but there were many ships, like the SS Raffaello, don't forget the Andrew Doria sister, the Cristoforo Columbus, and the SS Michelangelo. Those are all Italian ships, but still. So it really was sad, too, because it just wasn't fair for these ships. Now, which is another... Now, if you haven't seen in my past videos, I really do not like planes. Now, don't get me wrong. I like planes in certain stands. I like the 747. It's been discontinued a couple years ago. That is probably my favorite airplane. I love that plane. But the thing is, it got rid of ships like the SS United States. And the reason the SS United States, many owners dragged it on, but the reason why the SS United States, Queen Mary, and other ships are retired is because of planes. So I really just don't like planes. Now, on traveling planes, I think it's revolutionary and it's absolutely necessary. Just imagine going... Now, don't forget, the Queen Mary 2 is still around, and I believe one day ocean liners may be able to come back, just not the way you think it would. Maybe small cruises from, like, for example, India to, like, the Maldives. Not that long of ocean liners would used to do, like, from all the way from Europe down to Australia, but, like, just longer than cruise ships, shorter than the prime of ocean liners. Now, this is still show today. Now, the Queen Mary 2, of course, is still like the last ocean liner left, which is one of the reasons why. Honestly, this is another thing, too. One reason why the Queen Mary 2 is so successful is because it's the last ocean liner. If there's other ocean liners in service, the Queen Mary 2 would not be, honestly, in my opinion, the Queen Mary 2 would not be nearly as popular as it is. It's only popular because it's the last ocean liner, it's modern, and it bears the name of the legendary ship, Queen Mary. So, honestly, if there were other ships, the Queen Mary 2 would not be as popular as it is. It's only in service today because of the popularity and the fact it holds the name Queen Mary, it's with the Cunard Line, and it just is decently fast, like 28 knots. So, yeah, that is basically the downfall of ships. Now, guys, I really did not... This video was kind of overdue, but I really did not want to make the video because you guys see me rant and I don't like ranting. I really get mad when I talk about subjects that, like, involve the reason why the SS United States is how it is. If you guys do want to know more about that topic, link in the description. It's one of my older videos, I'll admit that. One of my most popular, actually. And the screen is like more like a short instead of just regular. This was way back. This was like a year ago, like year and a half, honestly. But as you can see, my videos are on way more quality, better. Not way more, but a little bit more. But I will show that video in the link in the description if you guys want to know how the SS United States got in the place it is. I'll also put the link in the description. The SS France video, I believe that was a very hard-working video. I had to do a lot of research for that video. And one of the reasons why I love the SS France to this day. That was like one of the videos that really got me into SS France. I like the SS France, but that video really got me into the SS France. That makes sense. So, I hope you guys like this video. Hope you guys like me ranting. I hope you guys learned something that, especially that Wright Brothers was not the original designer. I learned that while researching this video. The Wright Brothers is very famous, but they were not the first creator of the planes. Arguably, even George McClay was not the first creator of planes. You could say Leonardo da Vinci was the first creator of planes because he created the first prototype flying machine in 1560, I believe. So, yeah. Stuff, as a lesson, here's a lesson right now. Stuff is not as young or old as it seems. I will tell you that now. Same with the phone. Like, the phone wasn't created. A lot of people think it was, like, maybe early 2000s, late 90s. No, it was, like, 80s. It was, like, mid-80s. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe. Me and Jasper are going to be here. Check out my newest video on the Andrew Doria. I think it's one of my most high-quality videos. I put a lot of work in that. That was my first video that was actually scripted, so I wouldn't stutter as much. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That video will also be in the description. And subscribe. Hit the bell. I'll see you next time. Bye.